This sounds like dangerous.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. I opened the door and I was like, I'm in the wrong room. And then when I looked around, I was like, we should check that.
This sounds like a bad idea. What?
Some people at the traffic light, so we have to wait for them. That tracks. He's like, oh, this is the greatest point of the day.
Oxford.
Just...
2, 4, and number 5. Yes. Okay, and the light is green, so we can go. Need a picture.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, thanks. I thought it's normal.
Come a little closer, my voice likes that. Are you okay on the bike or do you think it's too small? Okay, yeah, go. Now's the moment to quickly go back. This is City Hall and City Hall Square. The building is built in 1905. And if you've ever been in Italy, Siena to be more specific, you recognize the building because it's a copy of the City Hall in Italy. Because the architect responsible for this building fell in love with the building at the end of 1800 in Italy and was like, okay, if I ever have the opportunity to use it as inspiration, I will do that. Lucky guy, start of 1900, he won the competition to make the 6th City Hall of Copenhagen. And he created this really cool building. We needed a bigger City Hall here because the city just exploded in amount of people living in the city after they took the city walls down in 1850. And I think this amount of people in the city just went, I don't know how much, 6 times over or something. I'm gonna put a jacket on because it's too cool. The City Hall is mostly used for administrative jobs to make sure the city is run nicely, but it's also used by a lot of foreigners to get married here. Because in Denmark we don't care who you get married to. As long as you pay the fee to get married for your 10-minute ceremony, then you get an international marriage certificate. And you can just marry with a person that has a different skin color, a different religion, the same sex. We don't care. As long as you're not your brother or your sister, then we don't really put limitations on it. And that helps because in a lot of places in the world that is still unfortunately not possible. But here you get an international marriage certificate and your country has to obey with that certificate. So it happens often that we're standing here and there is a couple coming out that is newlywed. Normally it's also open for public. If you have the possibility to go inside, definitely do that. Don't be scared you don't get out married all of a sudden. You need to do a lot of paperwork for that. But it's definitely worth to visit the City Hall. It's a great building, a lot of details, a lot of ornaments, and just a really cool old building. To make marrying, to make it easier to get married and have cool pictures, inside the building there's a tourist information stand, and they rent out plastic bouquet of flowers. Because as a foreigner you have no idea where to get flowers here. Or you're just like, okay, I don't have time to arrange that, I just want to get married. Rent your flowers, hand them in 2 hours later, and you have cool pictures and your certificate. On the outside of the building, the guy in gold is the most eye-catching one you can find, and he is Bishop Absalon. He became the owner of the city in 1167. In that time, a lot of pirates were still active in the Baltic Ocean, and he got the job to protect the city against those pirates. You would normally say, hey, that's the king's job. The problem was that the king at that time lived 30 kilometers away from here. I don't know what that is in miles, sorry. But it's half an hour by car or by public transport nowadays. Back in the days it took you more. I think that's our weekly Palestine demonstration. They might come here. I'm not really sure what their route is. Roskilde was 30 kilometers, is still 30 kilometers away from here. Nowadays it's half an hour by car with a really good road. Back in the days it took you more than a day by horse and carriage. So the king gave the job to Absalon to defend the city as long as I'm not here. He did a really good job, and under his guardian the city from a small fishing town became bigger and more safe. That's also why we have the coat of arms based on his 3 towers. The golden shield with the three towers on it. Those 3 towers were standing on his fortification. There's only one drawing left of that building, but for the rest we kind of know that it's these 3 towers. You find them everywhere in the city. Garbage cans, bus stops, everybody working for the city of Copenhagen has this logo on their chest. Every email we get has this logo. But also manhole covers has this image. I'm going to show you one when we go a little further, but on the building here, where the roof starts on both ends, you find the 3 towers of the city already. Normally I would say there's also on the garbage can, only the garbage can. Somebody opened my garbage can. Don't do that. All the way up, where the roofs end, you find 2 polar bears. Denmark is not cold enough for polar bears, but we have Greenland. Yes, still have Greenland. There's a certain guy that really wants to buy it. We're not gonna do that. But I want Hawaii. And I think the Hawaiian people also want to be part of Denmark, so that's no problem. As a Dutch person, I'm used to having some colonies on the other side of the world that is warm. Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire. Those are my island. Not really mine, but they're mine. So I want Hawaii. And an island against an island. And we're never gonna give Greenland to them. Unless they want that. But it's not our decision. It's definitely not his decision. So that's why we still have polar bears in Danish soil. Because they're part of Greenland. Somewhere on the building is also a sheep. I have not found it. I've been around the building a couple times and inside, but Faroe Island is also part of Denmark. And there's more sheep on the Faroe than there is people. So that's their national symbol, is a sheep. All the way down on the square on the farthest corner from here is a guy sitting really, really silent. He has a really big green hat. Hans Christian Andersen, the famous poet, famous fairy tale writer. He wrote The Little Mermaid, of course, The Ugly Duckling, but also The Tin Soldier. And the cool thing about The Tin Soldier is that you can find the story of the Tin Soldier on the manhole cover close to his statue. So if you're there, not only take a picture of the statue, also look down. There is a tin soldier hiding on the ground there. There's more than 25 different manhole covers in Copenhagen. I'm gonna point out a couple when we're driving, and if we have time I will also explain the one at the three languages in my head, and none of them know the correct word now. The house where the royal family lives. The castle, Amalienborg, that was it. That's the newest manhole cover of the city. It's a year old. Hans Christian Andersen looks out over his own boulevard, which is the busiest and the widest street of Copenhagen. Also the noisiest, because this is one of the main routes of everybody that has a siren and blue lights. Tivoli, on the other side of the street, is also making a lot of noise, but they also only make cool noise. The second oldest amusement park in the world, third oldest officially. 1843 it was built, and it was built at that time outside the city walls. Until 1850 there were city walls here. This was the western gate of the city. That's why the neighborhood there is called Vesterbro. That whole area of the city is called Vesterbro, the western gate part of the city. We have an eastern gate city, Österbro, and a Nörbro, the northern part of the city. If you look at the compass, then they're not really correct with west and east and north, not really. But hey, sometimes things change. It's gonna make a lot of noise now. It's built as a distraction for the common people. In 1843, approximately around that time, the normal people started to harass the people in the politicians. They harassed the politicians, that was it, about better living circumstances, better work circumstances. And the people in the politicians were like, that's annoying that the common people start mangling with our jobs. Let's give them a distraction, kind of give them bread and games as they did in Rome. We built them a little nicer park with a what is that? A Ferris wheel. And yeah, ever since it's a success. The oldest amusement park is also in Copenhagen. We call that Copenhagen. Yeah, a little north of Copenhagen. It's called Bakken, and it's part of a forest. A traveling amusement park stranded there over winter and eventually became an in-forest amusement park. Really cool park. Definitely worth visiting. And otherwise just walk around of it, because the atmosphere coming out of the park in the night is just, in the evening, is just really great. The whole square here changes kind of in new Times Square of Copenhagen, with all the advertisement sign lighting up in the evening. Also the glass building becomes one big advertisement sign. The brown building on the other side of the street, on the corner, all the way in the top, you find our golden girls, the weather girls. Those weather girls kind of predict or follow the weather. The lady outside loves sunlight. I don't know what she's out doing, but she loves sunlight. She comes out on a sunny day with her summer dress and a bicycle to encourage people to come Funny puppet on the right.
Funny puppet.
Funny puppet.
Mermaid.
Yeah, mermaid.
Rain,
Rain drain.
Rain drain.
Rain drain.
Rain drain.
best part of life. Get job.
Grabe.
We don't have any traffic today, so we just
Okay. Oh man.
there's a sign here that says do not enter. There's a sign here that says do not enter. Keep walking to the end. And park your bike somewhere around. In the big warehouses that were standing along the harbor side here until the mid 1980s. Around that time this was a spot in the Danish harbor where you did not want to be. All the buildings were kind of forgotten and were crumbling, and a lot of bad things were happening in around those buildings. In the 90s, the city of Copenhagen became a lot richer, and they finally had a lot of money to finally make this harbor part, cool part of the city. And this is definitely a spot you want to be on a sunny day, like you can see today. Normally there's not a swimming event, but there's still a lot of people swimming here in the harbor, because this whole quay is made for swimming. You just sit here on a sunny day, and if it gets too warm, you jump in the water and climb on land again after you chill down. It's a perfect spot to do your last Zoom meetings of the day, and then you just apologize for going to the toilet, switch off your camera, jump in the water, come back and says, yeah, I'm back. Sorry, camera not working. Nobody sees that you're dripping from the water. You never missed anything. In the time that they started this harbor renewal program, they started with a bicycle path all the way along the harbor. The cool thing about that bicycle path is that there's not much cars interfering with you as a bicycle. The bad part, as a Dutch person I think, is that they used cobblestones and these stones to make the bicycle path. So it's not really comfortable to go as a bike driver. But it's a cool bicycle path. And the cool thing about that bicycle path is also the bicycle bridges. The last 15 years, 20 years, there has not been built a bridge across the harbor that is accessible for cars. It's only pedestrians and bikes, which is cool because it makes life for the pedestrian and a bicycle much easier. The bicycle bridge on the other side is the circle bridge. It is 5 circles, and they all come together here, and those 5 circles represent the 5 areas of the city of Copenhagen, 5 neighborhoods. So north, east, south and west, and the city center, and they're all connected here. The 5 poles on top of the bridge represent a 5-master sailboat. A little feedback to the history of the harbor here when the big ships would sail in here. Another cool bridge is the grey bridge. It's a little difficult to see that it's grey with this weather, but there's a small bridge in front of the big bridge. The cool thing is about that bridge is the name of the bridge. It could have been a Canadian naming that bridge because it's just so funny. The bridge behind it is the longest bridge that crosses the harbor of Copenhagen, so it's called the Long Bridge, Langebro in Danish. The small bicycle bridge is a little shorter, so they call it the Little Long Bridge, just because it's a little shorter than the Long Bridge. In Danish, Lille Langebro. The other cool thing about this bridge is also that it doesn't open up and down. It turns and pivots on its poles in the middle, and when it opens, it forms two islands in the city of Copenhagen. And that's literally what that bridge does. Hello, Kurt. It connects two islands with each other. We're still standing on one island, and the island group on the other side, Christianshavn, is also connected with this bicycle bridge. Christianshavn feels like Amsterdam because it is built after Amsterdam in 1600. Christian IV was the owner of that part of the city, and he was in Amsterdam and fell in love with the city there. Took Dutch and Belgian architects with him home and said, build me Amsterdam, but call it Christianshavn. The way the houses are made there, the little waterways, the amount of bridges, living boats, and the ton of...
Lit.
harbour has been completely renewed and also just made so you want to be outside. I think every renewal program of whatever neighborhood you are needs to have a thing in that top 5 somewhere. I mean, come on, what's the best part you have outside? You don't have to be under 1.50 m to enjoy a trampoline park. If you're above 40 and your bladder is still green with that, feel free. You have 3 minutes, then my story for the other side of the harbour is done, and then you need to get off the trampoline park. On the other side of the border is still Christianshavn. Part of Christianshavn is the tower of that church. Our Saviour's Church. I don't know the Danish name correctly. So Our Saviour's Church. Our Saviour's Church. Tower that you can walk on the outside. Cool, scary, same thing. My fear of heights starts approximately here. But I did it last year together with a friend of mine, and it's 100% scary. But it gives you an awesome view over the city, and the whole tower is just a really great way how they build it, and it starts already all the way in the bottom with climbing on really small paths. Xavier, yeah, friends. My tongue cannot do Danish and a lot of food. But I'm at that level now that they understand that I'm not from Sweden or from the west coast of Denmark. So I think I leveled up. And they understand me. That's also really important part of it. And I make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, well, I haven't learned English in the last... I started learning English when I was this small. That's 30 years ago. So that's, it took me 30 years to learn English. So I can also take 30 years to learn correct Danish. I hope. Definitely visit that tower and the church that belongs with it. It's a really cool place. If you're not going for the church, but you can use it as a landmark, because behind it is Christiania. Christiania is the hippie and free town of Copenhagen. So many noises today that distracts me, sorry. In the 1970s it was an abandoned military area, and the hippies here were like, okay, that is empty, we need a house, perfect match, we're gonna squat this area. 50 years later it has never been officially returned to the city of Copenhagen, so it's officially still squatted. But it's kind of allowed, and it's 1,000 people that are living there nowadays in a really cool community with a lot of creative people and just a really cool vibe. Definitely worth a visit. Last year until April approximately we still had a big soft drugs trade going on in there. There was one street where you were not allowed to take pictures, Pusher Street, which is now completely open for public and transformed into a creative area. They literally took the stones out of the street there to make it possible to renew the sewage in there and kick the drug dealers out. At least out of that street. It's still in the area but less organized and less visible, which makes the whole atmosphere better when you walk around in there. Worth to visit, definitely do it. Again, cool cafes, cozy restaurants, the best restaurant in the world started there, Noma. A couple times Michelin star, top Michelin. They still have their restaurant, but it's closed, and they have some pop-up shops going on around there. After Christiania, you're definitely hungry if you not have eaten in them in Christiania. At the end of this bridge here, you find ruins, P-R-O-I-N-S, ruins, which is a small street food area. Also worth a visit. If you don't want to go to Reffen, because Reffen is the most famous and the biggest one in Copenhagen, but it's from here still an hour's walk. Brouwens is around the corner. This is the last bridge to cross the harbour, which is also a cool bridge and also a horrible bridge. It's built for 1,000 people per day. It has 1,000 people per hour crossing the bridge. They totally underestimated the amount of people that would use that bridge. It's called the Kissing Bridge, and that is because the middle of the bridge gets away from each other when it opens, and then when it closes again for traffic. It is like long time lovers that finally meet each other again and miss each other in the middle. It's also called the missing bridge. While building the bridge, the people on the other side of the water had different coordinates than the people on this side, and they literally missed each other in the middle. They didn't connect. There's a lot of things wrong with the bridge, but the cool part is that it's the easy way to cross the harbor. I hope we get a new one in a couple of years. It's a little steep and a little slaloming while you're going down the hill, so that's a little scary. But it's cool. It gives you a cool view over the harbor. Behind it is the most expensive part of Copenhagen to live at the moment. Paper Iceland, built in the same style as back in the days where you made the newspaper in a newspress. That's why it's called. At the end of this street, we're going to the left, where we end up in New Harbor, the colorful houses area of Copenhagen, where we have a 15-minute break. Everybody, except from us, has the way of right when we come at the intersection there. They're coming from the right, they're coming from the left. Be careful. But also be a little brave and just cross. Otherwise you're standing there until 3 o'clock tonight. They will yell at you. Who cares? They don't know you, you don't know them. Don't make it a dangerous situation. But it might also be just really calm. Every time I mention this, there's nothing happening. And if I forget to mention it, there's a lot of people crossing. At the end of the street, we go left. And then we have a little break at the colorful houses area. And if you want to go back.
Victor også,
Make a nice little line of bikes. Make it look good on the picture. Too late.
So we lock it here?
No, I'm going to stay with the bike. It takes too long to explain everybody to lock it up. Perfect. I'm proud of you guys. Then one of the kings was like, okay, I need to have a harbor on my name, and he had Swedish prisoners of war dig out this harbor for him. His official plan, original plan, was to give it a really long, really difficult Danish name. Everybody convinced him to call it just the newest harbor. 350 years later, it's still called the New Harbor, but definitely not the newest harbor of the city anymore. But definitely the busiest part of Copenhagen and the coolest part, if you ask a lot of people. And definitely the colorful part. This was also a really busy trading harbor, with a lot of people coming here and a lot of people getting really rich here. To show off to their neighbors that how rich they are, they started to paint their houses. Red and yellow are easy colors. You can just get them out of the clay and make quickly colors out of that. So it costs you some money to have somebody paint your house, but you're not really spending a lot. They figured out that blue is a really difficult color to make. The bluer the house, the more rich the person originally living in that house. The oldest house in this street is also a blue house. Number 9, the big one on the front, 1683, the year of build. So it also says something about the building materials that is used in that time to make the house. In the 80s, also here, they abandoned the harbor. And this was a place where you really did not want to grow up have your kids grow up, because a lot of prostitution, a lot of drugs criminality going on, and just a horrible place. They finally came up with a plan to also make this harbor look better, and they painted the houses the original colors again, took away all the parking spots for the cars here, and yeah, renovated the whole area here. They installed the longest bar of Copenhagen, and you can see that all the umbrellas are the same color, the same size, and the same, they all the same shape. Just to give you a neutral image if you look from this side of the harbor to the other side. Also, the boats on the other side of the bridge have been lying on the same spot for the last 25 years. So if you came here 25 years ago, took a picture, it's gonna be the same picture nowadays. Maybe a little different color shape of color of the house because of sunlight, but essentially it's the same picture. The two red houses on this side of the street, Hans Christian Andersen has rented a room in that house to write one of his books. Also, the small white house on the other side is where he rented a room. In his time, both of the buildings were hotels, and he just needed a place to stay and write his books. Nowadays, there's a little metal plate in the walls to mention that it's part of Hans Christian Andersen history. It is 1612, 1615, come back here 1630, so that's 4:30 p.m. And then we're heading to the Royal Palace and the Little Mermaid after that. The best ice cream and the cheapest home at the moment, because there's no flag out, but his children are home. That's why there's 3 guards walking in front of the building at the moment. They're allowed to walk for 10 minutes, then they stand still for 5 minutes, walk for 10 minutes, stand still for 5 minutes. They're standing here for 2 hours before they get exchanged again. The other house on the right, from my side, seen 5 chimneys is where the former queen lives, or supposed to live, but after she gave up her throne, she moved to a little bit north of the city, Fredensborg, where a summer house is placed. Summer castle, actually, it's not a summer house, it's a summer castle, where she has much more privacy. She's been in public eye since she's 18, she's 85 now. More than 50 years of that, she's been Queen of Denmark, so she's also kind of deserved her privacy nowadays. So it's good that she's not longer, I mean, it's cool if she's back here, because it's always nice to have more flags out. The other house, 3 chimneys and brown doors, is where the royal family moved to Christiansborg, burned down for the first time. They temporarily took over that spot and were like, yeah, we're moving back. Christiansborg burned down for the second time, and they were like, you know what? We take over this whole square, kick out the people that live here, and we take over. Nowadays it's the guest house, so if one of our kings or presidents are visiting the royal family, they stay in this location. This is also the place where the royal guards have their whatever you call it. That's where they are when they're not standing outside, because there's a whole team having a 24 hours watch routine, and out of that team there's a couple standing outside for 2 hours and the rest is sitting outside for 4 hours, and so they exchange constantly. The last part building on this square is the house with the 4 chimneys but no clock, so that makes it easy for me. This is where the brother of the king is supposed to live, but it's mostly his kids living here, because he is living in Washington DC, being part of the embassy of Denmark there. It's also the house where the sister of the former queen lives, so the aunt of the nowadays king, make it even more confusing. And also the Amalienborg Museum is part of that building, so a lot of people sharing one building. And I'm always really confused, or now curious, what will happen when one day will come that the queen dies, then the crown prince will move into that house, but then we still have 3 children left of the royal family. There's not enough houses on this square, so somebody has to share a house. One of them is twins, so they're kind of used to having to share stuff, but you deserve your own house if you're part of the king. So I'm curious what will happen then. Frederick is living in that house because that house is literally called Frederick and then a number. I don't know the number anymore. That house is called Christian and then a number. So that's where the crown prince will move to. There's a big tradition with naming the king Frederick or Christian. If you call Frederick, then your firstborn son has to be Christian. His firstborn son has to be king, will be Frederick again. Until the former queen, because her father, Frederick IX, only got daughters, and he changed the constitution of Denmark to get his daughter the highest title of the country. So she became the first official queen of Denmark. And all of a sudden, it is, in my world, important where if a firstborn daughter, or if it's a daughter that is firstborn, what name that will... so that sentence does not make sense, not even in my world. Back in the days, only the boys' name was important. The girls, they don't have any title to pick up, so they don't care what they were named. But nowadays, girls can also become the Queen of Denmark. So, what name will if the Crown Prince get a daughter as a firstborn, what name will there start? Will that be Frederica? So it's still the same of Frederick Christian, or will it Margrethe, become Margrethe after the former queen? I want to know, but the guy is only 19, still in military service. It's a little too young to become dad, so don't do that. But I want to know that. So keep an eye out for future information of the royal Danish household. Every day at 12 o'clock the changing of the guards here, but it's also every second hour after that. At 12 o'clock is the biggest, then a new team comes up and there's 4 different teams. They all have a little tassel on the back of their uniform, which tells you which team it is. There's a red, there's a white, there's a blue and there's an orange team. The red team is the tallest people, team white is a little shorter, team blue is a little shorter, team orange are the shortest. It looks really funny when team red takes over from team orange, but it still comes back from the time that we fought wars by feet, walking and with little horse and carriages. Team orange were standing in the front, team blue shoots over their shoulders, team white shoots over them, team red shoots over everybody else. I assume that the reason we here in the north of Europe don't have that much small people anymore, we just kind of got rid of them by a lot of wars. There's a lot of wars been happening during the 16, 17, 1800s, and maybe we got rid of team orange. Maybe that's also the reason why the Netherlands love the orange color. Just to, what is that? Commemorate? Honor the smallest people in the world for giving us a free country. I don't know what the logic is, but it just makes fun of the colors. I'm really curious what that team is, but it looks to be team blue or team white or something. This is their signal, so they're allowed to walk again. The first one at the port will start go on, then the next one will go, then this one, then that one, then that one. Then the first one will raise his gun, then the next one will raise the gun, then this one will raise their guns. First one starts with a quarter, then the next one a quarter, then the rest a quarter, and then the first one starts walking and then the rest slowly starts walking. It's a little Pavlov effect that starts in motion now. And the funny part is that he's walking the wrong way. because they're all supposed to be walking to the right. So there's always somebody looking at the other's little house, which is not happening at the moment. So officially you can run to the little red tower now, steal one of the jackets. Don't do it, don't do it. But every day at 12 o'clock they have to count the buttons that are still on the red jacket. They do that every day at 12. I mean, it would be fun if at one day there's just no jacket. I'm really evil. It would be fun. You have literally a couple seconds to make that possible, because there's couple seconds where they're not paying attention at all. Don't do that. The most important job of them is go on a picture with the tourist and tell people that you're not allowed to sit on the stairs or behind the mosaic. That is royal household terrain, and you're not allowed to be there as a common person. You don't know that, there's no sign. It's their job to yell at you. First in Danish, I don't know why, but they always start yelling in Danish. And then finally like, oh yeah, wait, it's tourists, start yelling in English. It's enough to yell at people. They don't have to use force to get them away. The cool part is that you can literally get 1 meter away from the royal household. There's no big fences, there's no excessive guarding necessary to make sure that they're safe. So that's pretty cool in my world. The guy here on the horse, Christian V, if you're really good with Roman numbers, the bottom MDCCLXXX1, 1771 if you're... I asked a lot of people, I did not know that. Frederick V, he was the architect for this square. He needed to make friends with 4 noble families, and he designed this whole square. His official plan was also to make the church in his name. That is why it's called Frederick's Church or Marble Church. Only problem is he ran out of money, because he also needed to fight a lot of wars with the Swedish people. So eventually it took more than 150 years before this church finally was finished. Start of 1900, finally somebody was like, okay, let's fix this and don't have a ruin in the middle of the city anymore. It's a really cool church. It's open for public, definitely worth a visit. The dome is a copy of the dome in Rome, so that's why it might look, you might recognize it. The inside of the dome is painted really cool with all the 12 apostles out of the Bible. On the outside of the building, a lot of sculptures and a lot of statues of famous Danish people that did a lot of cool things for the history here. Worth to visit, also worth to walk around a bit. Also the neighborhood around it is really special. It's built to finance the church. The guards are between 18 and 25 years old, and they're girls and boys. So that's why they're really cute when you're standing really close to them. We're gonna pick up our bikes again. Go into the street with the Italian flag. In that street, on the right hand side, look up. The bottom of the rain gutters is really nicely painted with all kind of animals. We do a quick stop for the manhole cover in the middle of the street. And then we're off to the mermaid. A really cool manhole cover, if I say so. Come closer if you want to see it. It's designed by a 16-year-old girl called Blanca. Hofor is our clean water supplier of Denmark, and also getting rid of our dirty water. In 2024 we got a new king, and Hofor wrote out a competition, design a manhole cover to celebrate that cool historical event. This is the former queen. This is the nowadays king. This is a lady on a stone, also known as the Little Mermaid. Guy on the horse, could be the one behind us, could also be the other 5 inside the city. City Hall with a little sharp edges and a big tower. Christiansborg, the Parliament building with the tower in the middle. The big tower that you can climb on the outside at Christianshavn. The axis because it's Frederick X. Birds because it's a harbor city and there's always birds around us. Opera building. I've got to talk about that. It's in the end. You have the church there, and on the other side of the water there's our opera building, opened in 2005 and financed by the guy owning the building on the other end, Maersk, one of the biggest shipping companies in the world. This is the garbage incinerator that burns all our garbage that we don't recycle. I will tell more about that at the Little Mermaid. And then we have here, I assume, Rosenborg Castle, where we will do a quick stop on the way back to the shop. And then this one, and this one, and this one, I have no idea. One day I will figure that out, but I haven't found them yet. So I need to find the description of it again. But I think it's a cool one, and definitely because it's made by a 16-year-old girl, and I hope
16?
16, yeah, it's insane. Really cool. There's also the other version in the town where what is now pointing out is carved out and the other way around, so that makes it easier to see the little. Like I said, there's 25 different ones in the city. At the corner of the Maersk building on the left hand side is a manhole cover to honor the fact that the Tour de France, a really fast driving bicycle race, started in 2022 in Copenhagen.
Oh, nice.
If you want to see it, I will yell at it. So we go in this street, look up in the right hand side. Because we made it to the Little Mermaid. The most famous lady of Copenhagen, the most photographed lady of Copenhagen. Hopefully also the most abused lady of Copenhagen. I don't know, want to have any other lady that has been decapitated twice. Or lost her left arm almost, or been blown off blown off her stone by explosives. Because Little Mermaids belong in the ocean, not on a stone. She's also painted every color of the rainbow. Because if you do that within 5 minutes, you're on every social media nowadays. Because every culture is represented here. Luckily, that also gives the people that need to clean her a little heads up and say, hey, within an hour we need to clean the little lady up, or tell the world that unfortunately we lost her head. 111 years ago, the son of Carlsberg, the guy that is famous for the beer brewery, the beer with the little elephant, probably the best beer in the world. Maybe. I don't know, I don't drink beer. He wanted the statue of the Little Mermaid. He fell in love with the story after we have seen it in the theater. He found an artist that wanted to make a sculpture for him. This artist wanted to have the lady that did the ballet show pose naked for him, but the lady said no, not gonna happen. So he found his wife volunteering to be the sculpture, or the model for the Little Mermaid you see nowadays. The head of the Little Mermaid that you can see is from the lady that did the ballet show. And from this whole corner you cannot see that it is a Little Mermaid. It's just a lady sitting on the stone. You have to go to the other side to see her tail fin. So that also gives both stories of Hans Christian Andersen in one statue. From this side, from the other side, the lady that lives on the bottom of the ocean, gets to the surface, falls in love with the prince, gets back to the surface, makes a deal with the little evil witch. She gets legs to find the prince, but the prince has to fall in love with her within a certain time, so she can keep her legs. In the story of Hans Christian Andersen, the prince has no idea who she is. He does not fall in love with the Little Mermaid. And she loses her legs, turns into the foam that floats on the ocean's waves, and she dies. In the Disney version, everything is alright and they live happily ever after. The prince knows who she is, falls in love, blah 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 blah. According to Hans Christian Andersen, the only way we ever get mermaids back is make sure that all the children in the world laugh. If you have a crying kid, there's not going to be a Little Mermaid anymore. That's the reason we don't have mermaids. Next to the Little Mermaid, we have a lot of other cool things here in the harbor. Normally there's a waterplane lying there on the edge. You might have seen it circling above the city. It gives you a round flight above the city. Also a direct flight to the west side of the country. So instead of 4 hours in the car, you're 20 minutes in an airplane. Costs some money, but hey, sometimes it's necessary to be somewhere fast. On the other side of the water, the white ship is our royal ship. This is where the royal household lives for 3 months in the summer and sails through the country to meet other people and just have a great summer, which is really cool for our tour guide, because if the king is home, the changing of the guards at 12 o'clock takes 45 minutes at least. There's a lot of music involved and a lot of parades and a lot of ceremony. When the king is not home, it's only 20 minutes, which is really nice to not lose your tourist in the chaos. Come back in the winter when he's home and see the whole parade with music and stuff. If he's home, he might not be home. Behind it is the military harbor that was kicked out of the library garden. Open for public. The grey ship you see there is the Peter Skram, which is a retired warship and open for public and part of a museum. The big black triangle building on the other side is our garbage incinerator. It burns all the garbage we do not recycle. We recycle a lot, but we burn also a lot. And we import a lot of garbage because we recycle too much. When it burns, it creates heat. That heat is transferred to our city heating. And this is part of our city heating. Between October and May, we have city heating. After that, if it gets cold, or before that, put on a jacket or a warm sweater, because your central heating is not working in a lot of parts of the city. Which is really tough if it's a really old building. 1930 is my building and it's really not closing. A lot of drafts going through. Because that would be really boring to just have a building that burns garbage and not really interesting for the public. They put on the roof a ski slope. This is Copenhagen. Artificial grass makes it possible to ski all year round in the flat country Denmark is. Not everybody loves to ski or knows how to ski. On the side of the building is an 85-meter tall wall that gives you the possibility to climb all the way to the top. Not everybody knows how to climb or wants to climb. There's also an elevator just going next to it to the top of the building. Made out of glass, so it's not really good for fear of height people. I can confess that. But there's also just going a walking path all the way to the top. Gives you an awesome view over the city. On clear days you can even see Sweden. I think it's clear enough even today to see it nowadays. If you look all the way to the end, on the, what is that, horizon, the hills you see, that is Sweden. Not the dark brown here, but a little further the dark shadow, that is Sweden. I'm not really sure if it's a ship or it's Sweden. I think it's Sweden.
We'll say it's Sweden.
Let's call it Sweden. There's a cafe on top of the building, so definitely worth a visit if you want to see the sun. If you want to see the sunset and the sunrise, go there. They're the perfect spot. On the other side of the water, where Michelin is written on the building, is where Reffen is, the most famous street food area of Copenhagen, the biggest one also. 1.5 hour walks from the bicycle shop. With the yellow water bus that stops there at the quay. It's a 6 minutes walk. 40 street food stands, creating great atmosphere. Good food, acceptable prices. Bring some warm clothes because on the waterfront good chill after 8. For the people that has a lot of adrenaline to burn after this bicycle tour, it looks like it's active to them. It's a bungee jump center in the black and white tower crane. Normally there's a basket hanging on the top, and it's all the way down now. So we might see a bungee jumper in a couple of minutes. If you ever decide to do this, call me. I will be sitting here. This is the closest I ever get to a bungee jump. No way. A lot of money has to be involved to light jump out of a bungee jump. I really hope it got a little less people, but that didn't really happen. For the people that want to have a mermaid picture, it's always nice to have that, to win that competition. There's also my name, Josephine, but then shortened down to Fien because Josephine is way too long to write down. It gives you a discount code. If you want to rent bikes tomorrow, or in 2 weeks, or in 6 years, not 6 years. But if you have friends or family that come to the city and want to rent bikes, you can use my name. You can also still use my name. For a discount of 50 krona, which is €7, $7-ish. To rent a bike for the rest of a day, or the whole day. I'm gonna hand them out to everybody, at least per set of people. I hope I do it correctly. I have no idea actually who belongs to everybody. You guys belong together. You are single,
Yes.
wasn't it? Yeah, not single, but alone. You get together.
I'll get a card. I'll get one of those. I passed it on.
Yeah, pass it on there. Okay, cool. You with him? Yes, I thought that you guys are together.
My name is Josephine. They call her Fien, just like you.
Fien, Josephine. Welcome. In the Netherlands, I go as Fien because Josephine is way too long there. But Danish people have a problem with pronouncing Fien. They make fine or Fien or Fien out of it. I'm back to Josephine here because it's a name that is used a lot in Denmark. So Josephine is good. I give ice hockey class to kids under the age of 6, and my Danish colleague introduced me a lot of times to people there saying it's Fien like Fienestang, so it's a fig but then in Danish. And there's a candy for the kids that can eat Fienestang. So I'm now Josephine Fienestang, ice hockey trainer. Well, cool. That helps the kids make fun on the ice. I'm all for it. We're gonna leave the square, the garden here again. Go to the right. It's a 5-minute drive to the shop. Be careful with the people coming from the left. We're gonna pass one building that has police guards around it. This is the Jewish synagogue. 10 years ago there was a terrorist attack there. Unfortunately with dead people and wounded. And after that they have round-the-clock surveillance. Don't get scared, there's military people, they're just there to make sure that no idiots do stupid things. There's a lot of that in the world. Around that time time also do a little head count to make sure I have Edward with me. Because it's a lot of zigzagging there. Yes, let's do it.
These are city rentals. They're all over the cheap and yeah, well, that's a more friendly place to do that. That's where I'm from. Practice. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of mountains to make that happen.
Yeah.
Go to the west side of the country, you have also a lot of wet. The west side.
In Denmark, yeah. Yeah.
Here in Copenhagen,
Yeah.
not that much snow, not much freezing days. The west coast of the country has climate.
Yeah. Same in Scotland, West Coast is a lot wetter. A bit warmer than the East Coast.
So funny, that's also not that big, so.
No, it's not really. Same population in Denmark. 5 million. So, a bit more.
But how many landmasses? That's not the same.
It's bigger.
Really? Denmark or Copenhagen?
Scotland's bigger, yeah. I think so, yeah. So it's very sparsely populated.
What? Wow. The hell is that? That's insane.
barn, som nogle gange er godt opstået, at der har været.
Go to the right, so we want to make sure that I have enough people behind me to make sure that they see that we're going. It's a little stupid to lose the people 3 minutes away from us.